Psalm 73:1. Truly God is good to Israel, even to such as are of a clean heart. But as for me, my feet were almost gone, my steps had well nigh slipped. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. For there are no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. They are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. Their eyes stand out with fatness, they have more than heart could wish. They are corrupt, and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. They set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. Therefore his people return hither, and waters of full cup, and wrung out up to them. And they say, How doth God know? And is there knowledge in the Most High? Behold, these are the ungodly, who prosper in the world. They increase in riches. Shalom, brothers and sisters. This is your brother Hawayala. I want to give all glory and praises to our Heavenly Father Yahweh. In the name of our Lord and Savior Yahawashi, grace and mercy be bound to the hopeful elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth that are waiting on the second coming from our Lord and Savior Yahawashi Hamashiach. Going into this article that I seen earlier today from Elon Musk, and it was actually, kind of a continuation of what I seen from another article, and I kind of was thinking about a couple of precepts that came to mind when I saw this. And this is here from Bloomberg. Elon Musk wants proof $6 billion can solve world hunger. Now remember, as we've been talking about some of the things that they're doing, creating these shortages, shutting down meat plants, making farmers go out of business, paying them money basically to stop growing crops, and then them putting in all these genetically modified foods, these GMOs, and trying to control basically the food supply, because if you control the money system, you control the food supply, you can make the whole world bow to you. And this is what they're planning on doing. Now, remember, the objective of the elites of Edom is not to solve world hunger. In fact, this is something that they've actually have perfected, okay? And some of you brothers have known, talking about looking into the old, Soviet Union, okay? Looking to the original Soviet Union under Stalin, see how they controlled the food supply. You could even look at Mao Zedong. You had what was called, I guess, the Great Leap Forward back in the day. I want to say it might have been in the 50s. I think it was like late 50s, early 60s. And they had like the Great Leap Forward, where they basically tried to control the food supply. Had the people in the rural areas of China working to, produce all this food for people that were going to be working and building up some of the cities. And it led to a famine, okay, because of the way that they were handling things. Now remember, even in that in and of itself, even though it was done in China, remember that doctrine in and of itself to destabilize and keep the people subjugated fully under you came out of, the mind of an Edomite, starting with, you could say Karl Marx, Lenin, and then later Stalin, okay, who perfected it. Now, when you go into this New World Order, essentially you're going to have a very big fascist / communist, socialist, one world government. And one of the things that they want to do is they want to control, everything, all right? And they want to control the money, and they want to control the food, water. They want to control the energy, okay? All these things is going into what I spoke about last week in the lesson, dealing with the sustainability. You have the different United Nations objectives. I believe it's about 17 different areas, different categories. I believe we looked at category 7, and that one was dealing with energy sustainability. All right. So, being that this man is what you would consider a business tycoon, all right, or maybe even a henchman of the elites, you can look at it like that. Being supplied with different, means to create certain things. For example, as we know, when you look into the rise of Tesla's rise is actually heavily tied to two different things. One, the whole emissions, the California emissions objective to basically reduce the carbon footprint and to lower the emissions on gasoline vehicles by creating hybrid vehicles and also full electric. And of course, we know that there's government incentives. In fact, if you want to look at how Tesla became very popular, was in part because you had two incentives going on. One was a federal incentive that would basically give you tax credit for basically being a purchaser of a fully electric vehicle, but then they also had a California credit. So basically they incentivize basically people to actually buy Teslas, okay? And then it's still going on now. And that's one of the reasons why they have become extremely popular. It's not because of just the whole, he's a genius. Yeah, he's a very smart guy and the people that are with him. But it's also because you have people that are willing to, do things because they're going to have a benefit on the back end as well. Remember, this is all tied to money, power, and control. And so, as you see here with this article, even if this thing is really, he's doing this jokingly. He's trolling when he's saying this, okay? He does not care about whether or not $6 billion will cure world hunger, all right? Now, I'm going to go ahead and read this article from Bloomberg. It says that Elon Musk, the world's richest man, challenged the United Nations officials' claim that just a small percentage of his wealth could help solve world hunger, all right? So it says Musk was responding to comments by David Beasley, director of the UN's World Food Program. Now, remember, we already told you, United Nations is a precursor to the New World Order government. They already have, you have United Nations organizations that basically already are in place that have tentacles in all these, governments. All the heads of states deal directly with UN. In fact, all these countries have their own United Nations ambassador. Okay? You have billions of dollars upon billions of dollars that are sent there. You have people that are from all these different countries that basically work for the United Nations. And they're there as representatives from their respective countries in order to help facilitate the New World Order. Now, many of the people that work at these places, the United Nations and their various, because you have United Nations, which is the umbrella group, and then you have the other things attached to the United Nations. Your World Health Organization, your World Food Program. Remember, why do you need a World Food Program? If you know that people are starving, why aren't you getting food to places where they are people that are in dire need of food, okay? Because of whatever reason, mainly because of reasons attached to, the global system that's controlled primarily by the elites. And we know that if you look in more recent times, we know that China has been trying to flex itself as a future colonial power in different regions, right? But we know that a lot of these things that are happening in some of these countries is in part because of some of the manipulation of currencies in these countries, which leads to inflations, the agitations of conflicts that are usually controlled by multinational corporations who are influencing either rebel leaders to go up against the government in order to fill their pockets, or they basically have leaders that are puppets at the top who go and destabilize certain regions to continue furthering the dominance goals of the New World Order, okay? Because many of these heads of states act as agents towards the objectives of the New World Order, all right, for the elites of Eden. And they are under the threat of assassination, essentially, for many of them. So they do the bidding of their masters. Now, when you're going into this David Beasley, he's saying this stuff, but you got to remember, these people know what's going on. They know that they are planning on controlling as much of the food supply as possible to get the people to bow down. All right. Now, who repeated a call last week following an earlier tweet this month asking billionaires like Musk to step up now on a one-time basis? Beasley specifically called for action from Musk and Amazon.com co-founder Jeff Bezos, the two men atop the Bloomberg Billionaires Index. Just $6 billion could keep 42 million people from dying, Beasley said. You know what can keep 42 million people from dying? Is keeping those meat packing plants open, all right? Allowing the farmers to grow their crops, all right, and harvest them so they can have food for people to eat. That's what can help them. But you destroy these things. They've destroyed enough they've destroyed more than $6 billion worth of food, the food supply, since the shutdown. Like, this is how they play games with people, man. This is how they play games with people. They do these type of things. Do you know how much food is wasted here in Babylon? If you ever worked at like a fast food restaurant, you will know like how much food is wasted. Like, you got orders from corporations that they're not going to give any food to the homeless or the poor. All right. When they close their restaurants, they go to the back and they put it in the dumpster. We're talking about millions of pounds of food is thrown away every day in Babylon alone. Food that can be boxed up, that's left over, that wasn't eaten, that was just excess food that wasn't taken, that could just be given to poor families at the end of the night so they can feed themselves and their kids. They don't do that here. What do they do here in Babylon? They already have a system. You have the food stamp program. The food stamp program goes back to the rationings during the Great Depression, where you will basically get allotted a certain amount of food based on your family size each week. So you get a certain amount of milk, a certain amount of cheese, a certain amount of eggs, a certain amount of bread, and then whatever canned goods and whatever meats that they would offer you. And maybe some servings of fruits and vegetables, and that was pretty much it. So they've already have done a level of rationing already to the people, just that the people don't realize that it's a system that's already been being perfected over these years through things like the food stamp program. Now, moving forward, they're going to really go down to like really heavy rationing, to where they don't want you to be able to buy a certain amount of food probably per month. So you might be able to buy, if you're a family of 3, they might only allow you to buy like a loaf of bread every 2 weeks or every month. You know what I'm saying? Or like a carton of eggs for a week for a family of 4. They might do, they can, that's what they're planning on doing, because they want to do sustainability. They want to not waste product, which they purposely created a system of excess. Remember that. They created a system of excess. They created a system of overeating, of overindulgence. They've created a system of materialism. These are all things that lead to overproduction and excessiveness. And with this excessiveness, now they're using that excuse of something that they created, the Frankenstein that they created, the monster economy that they created with the excess that was within it. Now they're wanting to scale it back and tell you that you need less. And this is all a means of them to control the people. We're not saying for people to get excess, but we're saying what is the motive behind this. And it's very clear that they're going into a position of wanting to tighten the controls upon the masses and give them more restrictions. All right, so as we go down, let's see, what do we leave off? Yeah, so it says, if the World Food Program, using transparent and open accounting, can describe on this Twitter thread exactly how $6 billion will solve world hunger, I will sell Tesla stock right now and do it, Musk wrote in a Twitter post. So this is all troll. This is all trolling, okay? It's all trolling. Musk is CEO of the electric vehicle company, which last week joined the handful of companies valued at more than $1 trillion. The $6 billion would be just a small fraction of Musk's current net worth of $311 billion, and less than $9.3 billion his net worth. Wow, increased on October 29th alone. Okay? According to the Bloomberg's Wealth Index, Tesla forms the vast majority of Musk's net wealth. He very rarely sold stock in the electric vehicle maker, whose shares reached a record 1,114 on Friday. His fortune has also surged thanks to his stake in SpaceX, a private space exploration company that was valued at about $100 billion last month. Okay, so they're basically going into his background and his wealth. I'm going to get more into that, okay, because they said he was $311 billion as far as his net worth, and we talked about, of course, in the Psalm, the rich that increase in the earth, right? And when you look at this, this is SpaceX, okay, that they were talking about, and they said right now it's valued at $100 million. Let me actually go back. Hold on. It was $100 billion last month. It was valued. So when you look at this, that SpaceX could make Elon Musk world's first trillionaire, says Morgan Stanley. The most of the world's richest person's fortune has come from the electric car company Tesla. Okay, and it goes into it now. On this one, I guess they said 241, and this, when was this written? Because this value goes up and down month to month. I mean, it swings heavily. Yeah, so here it is, October 20, Wednesday, October 20. That was when I saw that article originally. I think it said in one day on the 29th, it went up to like almost $9.3 billion. It increased. So as we see with the SpaceX, we know that's a whole machine, the whole space travel program that was it basically started, I believe, after the NASA was losing some of its responsibilities. They wanted to scale back the NASA program, and then they gave incentive to Elon Musk to go ahead and go into the SpaceX program. I believe that one of the first spaceships he created, or space rockets he created, was something like the Red Dragon, which is a very interesting thing. It was something like that, Red Dragon or Red something. It's kind of, you see kind of the energy that some of these people are under, all right? And they know a lot more than, these people give them credit for. And what I'm talking about is these people that think that they know, but they really don't know how much they really should know concerning this thing, because some of them, they applaud certain people. I'll give you an example. So Elon Musk is held in higher regard amongst certain people because they look at the whole environmental aspect, right? Meaning that, oh, look, he did a great job at creating something that's gonna, make the environment not hurt as much. But remember, in order to have an electric vehicle, you still gotta mine a lot of different products in order to have a fully running electric vehicle. People don't understand how many heavy, precious minerals go into making those vehicles. So people in certain countries gotta suffer that, all right, to make these things happen. So we always gotta remember that. But a lot of these people, they don't care about that. All they're looking at is the end result. And a lot of people look at things from an angle of like, if saving the environment is more important, meaning people put the trees and the environment above people, okay, when the trees were made for the people, not the other way around, okay? So a lot of people don't look at it that way because their minds have been warped with this whole earth persona, and now it's gone into other areas. And now you see the reason why they were playing that game and why people were being trained in that mindset, because now you have the meeting dealing with the climate change issue that's basically fueled by these things at the bottom level, which again was, when you start looking at things, and I start thinking back 20 years ago, being on a college campus and seeing people that were around me, even my roommate being like getting heavy into the whole save the environment thing. When I look back at it, I realized like, yo, this stuff was really, and not to saying we don't want to save the environment. We know that the elites is destroying the environment. It's just that they've been as destroying the environment, but now they're acting like they want to save it. They've been chopping down trees and making the earth as a wilderness. They've been making concrete jungles. So for people to just automatically think they're going to do about face, they got to look at what the motive is. And there have been people that have been part of this thing going back into the 90s, back when they created like things like Earth Day. Bro, this stuff is very heavy. Then you had like the environmentalists, and you had people that made money pushing the whole like non-profit environmentalist vibe. Okay, so and they're doing it with the end game in sight. Some people are doing it because they got fooled, but some people are doing it understanding the end game, which is to basically control the masses from being able to do much of anything unless they are fully allowed to. And that's this whole thing. It's about control. It's about ultimate power. over the people. All right. So we're not going to get into the whole article. Let's go ahead and go on to the book of Job. This is the book of Job, chapter 20 and verse 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds. Okay, because he got the SpaceX program. So this is we're getting deciphering through the Spirit of the Lord what this is talking about. Okay, who went and had their heads up in the clouds? Who decided to go up there? Who was so prideful enough that they wanted to be as the eagle in the air that soareth? Who was Esau, Edom? Okay, and that's why a lot of them are obsessed with this whole getting up outer space. All right, the space-time continuum. They want to be up there. All right, they want to be up there like the Jetsons. They show you in a lot of their stuff. Star Trek. Okay, they show you in a lot of this stuff that they put on TV that this is what they are. This is their ego telling them that they can do it. That they can basically create that kind of world. They can create Elysium. Okay, like you got to see what they're doing and why they're doing it. You got to understand, like, why are they so obsessed with that? What is the Most High trying to tell us? Okay, verse 7. Yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? He shall fly away as a dream. Shall not he and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. His children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. All right, so that director and all these people that are talking about they're against world hunger, and we need to feed the children, all that, those commercials you saw, a lot of people that donate to those type of things, for 5 cents a day, you can feed children here and there, right? A lot of them are Edomites that got guilt because they know deep down inside, they know that they ravished the earth. They know listen, when you go around the world and you see like where people are having like bouts of like starvation or famine or food insecurity, you notice that for so long it was never where Edomites were in abundance. Now all of a sudden they're trying to create that because they want to do control even more. And so when you look at and you see what they're doing by basically looking to find a way to quote unquote end world hunger, when we know that world hunger is around because of greed, because of primarily their greed, which trickles down to the other nations, right? Then now you see the problem, and they're going to seek to please the poor, but his hand shall restore their goods, meaning you got something that belongs to them. At the end, you got to come off of that. It ain't good enough for you to go and rob and rape and murder and steal, plunder the world, take all these goods and resources through your multinational companies, through shady dealings and unrighteous dealings to acquire these things and access to these things. And then when you deprive the people of the goods and the things that they have in their land, and then when you realize you impoverish them, you want to come back and see if you can just give them a sandwich. That's what you want to do. Now you want to give people some Soylent Green. You want to give people fake. You're so greedy. You're so evil that now you want to create fake foods. You want to go out of your way and create fake chicken and fake beef to fool the masses and to say this is what you deserve to eat, while these people are going to be eating filet mignon. Okay? They're going to be eating rotisserie chicken in bunkers. That's what they're going to be doing. So people don't understand what these people are trying to do. They want the people to be feeble. They want their children to be the strong ones by them getting all the proper nutrients, while the people are basically feeble, both in mind and body. This is all a ploy of control, and a lot of people cannot see this. Okay? Verse 11. His bones are full of the sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust. Though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, though he spare it, and forsake it not, but keep it still within his mouth, yet his meat is in his bowels is turned. It is the gall of asps within him. He hath swallowed down riches. He shall vomit them up again. God shall cast them out of his belly. He shall suck the poison of asp. The viper's tongue shall slay him. He shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. That which he labored for shall he restore. Okay, and mind you, this whole thing is not about just this man. I'm pointing to what he said and how it applies to all his brethren that are doing the same thing. They're going to restore all that which they've taken from the people. That which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. According to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. So according to his substance, meaning all them companies that they got, all them properties that they got, all the goodies that they got, all the gold, silver, and the precious jewels, they gonna have to come off that. All the islands that the secret islands they got, it's not gonna be theirs no more. The land that they took, it ain't gonna be theirs no more. That's how the restitution gonna come about. All these other nations that also stole from the children of Israel, okay, the elect is going to receive those things from them as well. Verse 19, because he hath oppressed and hath forsaken the poor, because he had violently taken away an house which he buildeth not. Who's this talking about? Okay, let's go into another area of Job. Job chapter 15 and verse 17. I will show thee, hear me, and that which I have seen I will declare. Which wise men have told from their fathers, and have not hid it. So, as you're going on, you're going to just see a pattern. Unto whom alone the earth was given, and no stranger passed among them. The wicked man travelleth with pain all his days, and the number of years is hidden to the oppressor. A dreadful sound is in his ears. In prosperity the destroyer shall come upon him. He believeth not that he shall return out of darkness, and he is waited for of the sword. He wandereth abroad for bread, saying, where is it? He knoweth that the day of darkness is ready at his hand. Trouble and anguish shall make him afraid. They shall prevail against him, as a king ready to the battle. For he stretcheth out his hand against God, and strengtheneth himself against the Almighty. He runneth upon him, even on his neck, upon the thick bosses of his bucklers, because he covered his face with his fatness, and made collops of fat on his flanks. He dwelleth in desolate cities, and in houses which no man inhabiteth, which are ready to become heaps. He shall not be rich, neither shall his substance continue, neither shall he prolong the perfection thereof upon the earth. He shall not depart out of darkness. The flame shall dry up his branches, and by the breath of his nostrils shall he go away. Let not him that is deceived trust in vanity, for vanity shall be his recompense. Okay? And just like it said again in verse 29, he shall not be rich, neither shall his substance continue, neither shall he prolong the perfection thereof upon the earth. Okay? So ultimately, they're not going to be able to continue this. You know, all this, they're going to be trillionaires and zillionaires. That stuff is going to come to an end. They're going to have their time is coming up, and that's why they're switching over to this new monetary system, because of the fact that they want to have as maximum control as possible. And they want to increase themselves even more by being able to get these riches through deceit, all right, through the deceit of this monetary system. If you look at since the shutdown, they've become way richer. There's many articles on how the top 10%, the top 1% of America and the global elite have increased in so much riches compared to the rest of the 99% of the world. And when they increase in riches, that means that they've had to take more from the people. And when they take more from the people, that means that they have more control over the people. And that's what's emboldening them even more so to implement this New World Order, because of what they have in their possession and how they're fooling the masses into going astray to this New World Order that they're planning on, implementing. So, hopefully, this is edifying to you, brothers and sisters. And again, I want to give all glory and praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahawashi. Grace and mercy be abound to the whole elect scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom.